Hey guys, welcome back. We just wrapped up our last homebuyer seminar of 2024, and we wanted to make sure that if you didn't attend or could not attend, that you didn't miss all the information that we had to give. My name is Cas Thompson, a local real estate agent with Metro Brokers, Better Homes and Gardens, and today we have Frederick Middlebrooks. He is our loan officer, mortgage expert, credit facilitator. He wears all the hats. He does all the things, and we're not going to give you the complete seminar. What we're going to do is conquer the top 3 questions that came up in the seminar, and they mostly came back to finance. How do I improve my credit? What programs are available for first-time home buyers, et cetera, and what you could do to help yourselves, or shift yourself into purchasing a home in the next year or 2, and what steps you need to take in order to get to that better place. So we're just going to start off. Frederick, tell me a little bit about yourself.
So yes, been in the mortgage industry for a few years, and I really take a joy and an interest in helping people to be able to qualify for homes. One of the big things, obviously, being credit, and like you mentioned earlier, getting that down payment assistance, because home prices are no joke. But as far as my background, I have been in real estate for a while. Both my parents were real estate brokers. I got my license about 17 years ago as an agent before I switched over to the finance side of things and just loved it so much better. So that's all I do now is just financing. But yeah, that's after jumping into financing, realized that credit was one of the big barriers that was keeping a lot of people from being able to purchase a home. So I took it upon myself to learn things that people needed to do in order to repair their credit so that they could be able to purchase a home and everything. So yeah, that led me to where we are now with just trying to educate and teach people to what they need to know.
We appreciate that, and we're glad you're here. So one of the biggest questions or misconceptions that we see is that people think that they need, an 850 credit score. They need to be on top of the world with their credit. Everything needs to be tight. Tell me a little bit about that misconception and what you would advise for somebody that's coming in. They might not have the best credit in regards to just credit score, the score itself.
Yes. Yeah. So no, 850 definitely a misconception. Great credit is always going to be better than bad credit, but having credit that is, I would say at a minimum, if you can get it above a 620, that would be better. FHA will finance you for a 580 with only a 3.5% down payment. So you can still get financing at a 580, but obviously the higher your credit is, the easier it is for you to be able to get financed and everything like that. So I would say when it comes to credit score, honestly, not worrying so much about the score, but worrying more about the information that's in the credit report is going to be what really is going to help you to get qualified for that home. For example, believe it or not, I've actually come across individuals who had 650, 700 credit scores that couldn't qualify to purchase a home because of issues with debt to income ratio. Maybe they had too much debt, or they had some things that were on their credit report, either past charge-offs or things like that, that were preventing them from being able to. Late payments is another big one that prevents them from being able to purchase.
Okay. So you heard it here first. Just because you're not at an 850 or you're not over 700, it doesn't exclude you or get you out of the game from getting a home. So the other thing that we see too is we have a lot of people questioning, like, hey, my credit is good, but I do want to take advantage of everything that all these programs have to offer. I live in Georgia. I'm in the Atlanta metro area. So what are probably top 2, top 3 things, without giving away all the goodies, bonuses that people could possibly qualify for?
Okay, so in terms of down payment assistance?
Down payment assistance. I know there's tons of programs for veterans, and maybe we should leave the veteran question for another piece. But I see that nurses, firefighter, first responders, they're doing good. And there's just a lot of extra money out there to take advantage of. What are some of your favorites? What have you seen work in the past?
No, absolutely. So some of the big things out there, like you mentioned with the nurses, first responders. So if you're a firefighter, a police officer, there are programs out there that can actually get you more money that you can put toward down payment assistance, which is always nice to have. The Georgia Dream program is one out there that, if you do fall into those categories of being a teacher or a nurse or a first responder, you could actually get an extra $2,500 right now to put toward down payment assistance and everything. So that's nice. Also, with our current mortgage company right now, we're allowing people to have discounts on their interest rates and everything in terms of a credit that they can put towards their interest rate. So let's say if you're going to purchase a home, you could get potentially $1,000 credit to be able to put toward buying down your interest rate. And that's something that can also help you with being able to purchase that home that you're wanting. So depending upon the mortgage lender, it's going to depend upon, the programs that are available, but those are some of the more common ones. And then there are some other first-time homebuyer programs that are out there that can really help individuals with being able to qualify and get the money and the funds that they need for down payment assistance.
We appreciate that. There's nothing like free money, right? Especially in a situation where you're making this investment, purchasing your first or maybe even your second or third home, and you just need as many resources as possible, right? Right. So as a real estate agent, so I know that you said you've had a past being an agent yourself, even before getting into mortgages. One of the biggest things for me, or the most important things for me, is making sure that people that come to us wanting to get that home, that they are pre-qualified. Talk to me about how important that is in the process.
So the pre-approval is huge. You definitely want to get a good pre-approval, because what I see a lot of times is that you'll have someone that goes to get pre-qualified or pre-approved for a home. They get a pre-approval letter, so to speak, but then come to find out it wasn't actually a good pre-approval letter, and they don't actually qualify to purchase the home that they want. So that's a very important piece of the process. There are three different things that fit into that pre-approval. One is your credit, your income being the second one, and your debt is the third piece of that puzzle. So with the pre-approval, you're going to be looking at your credit, that's your credit score, but also the items that are on your credit. Do you have late payments, missed payments, collections, charge-offs, bankruptcies, those types of things. With the income, we're looking at how much money you make, because we can't use all of your income to qualify you for a mortgage. We can utilize about half of your income. And so that's where the debt comes into play, because let's say, for example, if you make $8,000 a month, half of that would be $4,000. Right. So from that $4,000, we have to subtract out any debts that you have. And that's what we're looking at. Do you have a car payment? Right. Do you have student loans? Do you have credit cards? Do you have a personal loan? Any of those things? We have to subtract them from the amount that you make to determine how much is left over that we can actually use to qualify you for a mortgage. And having that solid pre-approval is key. And I will say one thing, all the other jobs that you can work are not, all jobs are not viewed equally in the eyes of a mortgage lender.
Tell me more about that. What do you mean by that?
So if you work a salary job, you're paid W-2 salary, those are the most favorably viewed jobs in the eyes of a mortgage lender. And the reason is because it's stable employment. And that's really what a mortgage lender is looking for, is how stable is your income. Right. We know how much you're getting, we know how often you're getting paid, and we know how much over the year or every month over the course of a year that you're going to be making. If you get paid hourly, it still can be stable, but a mortgage lender is going to have to look a little bit deeper to make sure how many hours on average are you working. Do you always work 40 hours a week, or is it 35 sometimes and 38 the other time? So they're going to look at that. They're going to take an average over the last several months that you've been working. But if you're self-employed, that's where it gets tougher. That's where it gets a little tricky, because self-employed income, sometimes you have a good year, sometimes you have a bad year.
Ebbs and flows, right?
Ebbs and flows. And then 1099, we treat those as self-employed as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we look at your last 2 years of income.
Gotcha.
We look at tax returns. We look at how much you've made over the last 2 years. We look at write-offs. And let's say if you make $80,000 a year, but then you write off $40,000 worth, we can't count the $40,000 you write off. So it's really $40,000 that we're working with. So it gets a lot trickier when it comes with self-employed, and now we're averaging the $40,000 that we can take.
Definitely good to know. Yes. Yeah, dropping gems. All right, so I got you for 2 more questions. You're doing good so far. So the next one is a doozy though. So the big topic right now in home ownership, I'm sure you feel it coming, is going to just be interest rates, right? Everybody's talking about interest rates. I want to wait, and people have been waiting for years, and they seem to be like, hey, I'm going to wait another year. But talk to me about your personal and professional opinion on, what people should do about the current interest rate. Should they wait? Should they, do something now and then refinance later? What's your opinion?
So interest rates are something that I personally believe, if you're able to afford to purchase the property now, I think it's always going to be the better opportunity for you to go ahead and make that purchase. And the reason is because the prices of homes aren't getting cheaper. They're not getting less. And so you can start now by benefiting on that appreciation. On average, over the last 60 plus years, it's been at about 4% year over year on average. And so if you're purchasing that $400,000 home, that means this time next year it's going to be worth about $416,000. And so that's something that, you know, you can start having work in your favor, is that appreciation and everything. So I don't think that interest rate should be a deterrent. If you're able to afford the monthly payment, because like you mentioned, you can always refinance into the lower rate. So you might get a 6% or a 7%, depending upon where your credit and everything is. But next year, you could refinance into a 5%.
Like you said earlier too, there are certain programs that will allow you to buy down interest rates as well, right?
Exactly.
So
And you don't even have to pay for that buy down. What? Yep, there are programs out there, not just programs, but ways that you can structure a contract to where you could have the seller to pay for that buy down. So you don't even have to. That's something that you don't have to shoulder the cost of.
Right. I do love that, the fact that you could do or use strategic ways to get through this process, and you don't have to lose sleep at night or pull your hair out because of the current interest rates, or should I wait 6 months, should I wait a whole year? Like Frederick said, you should be taking advantage of all the offers that you have going on right now, all the opportunities you have going on right now. And that leads me to the last question. What didn't I ask? What do the people need to know in regards to anybody that's anxious, anybody that's afraid, they don't know what to do with the next step, they are thinking about their credit score not being enough, all the things that we talked about in the past 10 minutes. What else do they need to know, Frederick?
So I would say the big thing is to just get started. I see so many people that are just waiting, and I'm like, what is it that we're waiting on exactly? The biggest thing is really to just get started on the process. If you don't think you qualify, talk with a loan officer and see, hey, where is my standing right now? And at least if you don't qualify right now, you can get that guidance that can let you know, okay, this is what you need to do so that you can qualify. So I would say the big thing is to just get started on the process, find out what you need to pay down on credit card debt, if there's credit card debt that needs to be paid down, what your current income can allow you to qualify for and everything like that. And then once you get yourself ready to be able to purchase and everything like that, knowing where to negotiate is going to be the big thing, because again, if you don't have a lot of money saved up, there are so many programs that you can get for down payment assistance that will allow you to purchase a home for little to nothing. But also you can utilize programs, not programs, but rather negotiating for the seller to either cover part of your closing costs or increasing the purchase price is another little tip and trick that people could utilize as well. So.
Excellent. So we definitely want to thank you for being here. The seminar was fantastic. Thanks for staying over to give us even more tips for anybody that missed it. And if people need to get in touch with you to take action, because that's the two words that I heard come out of your mouth the most in regards to anybody that's afraid, or they don't know what step to take, just taking action, any type of action, and finding out where you stand would be key, correct?
Correct.
Where can they find you?
So I'm on pretty much all the social media platforms, Frederick M Official, and that's on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. You can find me at Frederick M Official. So you can also email me. My email is frederick.middlebrooks@thrivemtg.com. So MTG is short for mortgage. So frederick.middlebrooks@thrivemtg.com. And also my number is a good way to reach out to me. What is it? 470-398-0858. So 470-398-0858. And I'm happy to help assist anyone with their financing needs.
Excellent. And this is Cas Thompson, CASTHOMPSON, everywhere. What we'll do, Frederick, we'll put all the information down below. So wherever you're watching this video, if you didn't have time to jot things down, we'll make sure that everything is queued up and synced up in the description below. Frederick, we want to thank you, my brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been well.
Thank you.